Hello, it's June 2018, this is Liverpool and I'm Larry Neild. I'm in Calderstones Park, which is one of the most beautiful parks in Britain. It's the city's flagship park, possibly because the Mansion House was once the headquarters of the Parks and Gardens department, so perhaps it was given that little extra attention by the gardeners. I'm in what I call the quiet corner of the park, away from the main avenues where a lot of people gather. We all know this is Calderstones Park, but the bit I'm in was part of the Harthill estate. It was bought by a forward-looking city council and the two large estates merged into one. My old paper, the Liverpool Daily Post, in 1914 reported that the Lord Mayor would open Harthill, described as an extension to Calderstones. Harthill will relieve the crampness of Calderstones and be a notable addition to the lungs of the city, said the write-up. Well, if Liverpool needed lungs a century ago, I guess with modern pollution, today it's in need of a transplant. It's tranquil here, but soon a large slice of this rural oasis will disappear to make way for executive homes. Let's see what we're going to lose if this happens. Over there is the site of the Harthill glasshouses, once home to one of the world's most important botanical collections. It rivaled Kew Gardens, especially its famous orchid collection. It was closed and demolished in the 1980s, but that's a lamentable story, perhaps for another day. Like many who paid a few pennies to view the collection, I've always harboured a hope that in better times it might even be rebuilt. Over here is the paddock where horses from the Beachley stables for the disabled graze. Just over the paddock fence will be an access road for the new houses, just a few feet away from where I'm standing now. The paddock was created in the 1980s, but until then it was actually part of the park. Park users, though, were more than happy for the paddock and other bits of the park to be used for good community uses. The stables beyond the paddock will also close and move to a new home in a different part of Liverpool. Next door is Calder Kids Adventure Playground, built almost 40 years ago. They're moving to another site in Liverpool. The building over there is in a poor state, but it's a pity that Calder Kids is leaving this wonderful woodland setting. At the end of the path is a miniature railway. Every week children and adults enjoy free rides through a secret garden. The council will move it to another site in the park, but I don't think it will look anything like as magical as this looks today. It should be preserved as a monument to World War II, I think. It opened in 1943 at another site and moved here in the early 1950s, built by soldiers who had returned from World War II. Its aim was to help them return to civilian life after fighting for our country. This is the access road linking the depot site to Harthill Road and faces the school where John Lennon first nurtured his plans that would lead to the birth of the Beatles. We all remember the Quarrymen. It cuts across the footpath linking the two parts of the Calderstones Park. This will become a 20 or even a 30 miles an hour road as the access to the new houses. Just imagine what that might look like in a few years' time if this plan goes ahead. Perhaps best not to imagine after all. Oh, and over there are some of the trees that will be chopped down. Well over 100 trees, many mature and some special species will be chopped down. People come here from all over the city, in fact from wider afield. Calderstones is an important visitor attraction for Liverpool. Liverpool's great parks are vital lungs, more important than ever with modern pollution. They need special protection to prevent land grabs, even by civic leaders. The city is skint, but our parks and trees are more crucial than ever. After all, Liverpool survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression and numerous financial calamities without ever selling parkland. The council says the housing site is not really part of the park. I think that's sleight of hand. Of course it's part of the park. That's why the esteemed Lord Mayor, Aldermen and councillors gathered here in 1914 to celebrate the opening of the Harthill part of the park as an extension of Calderstones. The successors of those forward-thinking civic leaders won't be remembered in history for their efforts to overcome modern-day austerity. Sadly, they will be remembered as the councillors who sold the park. What a sad testimony. I'm Larry Neild, thanks for watching.
Against the sweet flowing